What's going on, everybody? Happy Tuesday. Welcome to another edition of Dangle Bet Celly, presented by PointsBet Live here at FTN. Chris Meaney and Eric Young here with you for the next little bit to break down Tuesday's slate in the NHL is April 16th, which means this is the second last show of the regular season. All wraps up on Thursday, and we're going to have some answers here today on who will get into the Stanley Cup playoffs, I do believe, as we break down the slate. Welcome in. Happy Thursday or happy Tuesday. I'm getting ahead of myself. We do have a couple plans moving forward before we bring in the Go EY, who I see is wearing the white and red here today. Two things. Will he be here on Thursday, even if it is a meaningless day in the NHL? There still will be games, and we'll talk them out and some picks and stuff. But we're going to have a Stanley Cup preview show on Friday. We're actually still unsure if we're going to go live with that show. We may have to record it and then post it. But we will have a Stanley Cup preview show. We'll dive into all of the 8 matchups. We'll talk just like we did last year and the year before. We'll talk Conn Smythe. We'll talk series props. We'll talk playoff fantasy hockey rankings and stuff. EY, your camera just went away. But we will have everything over at FTNFantasy.com. We have now moved to one site. So we've moved away from FTN Daily and FTN Bets. If you checked it out today, FTNFantasy.com, you'll see everything is right there. So bear with us, through some of the kinks. You may have to get a new password to re-register over at ftnfantasy.com. But let me know if you have any questions at all, if you're having any issues at Chris Meaney on Twitter, meanstreetsftn@gmail.com. You will notice inside the description of this video, we have a link to an NHL bracket challenge. Dangle Bet Celly NHL Bracket Challenge, which we did last year as well. So we want you guys to sign up. It's free. We'll have some fun. We'll have a couple giveaways as well for the winner. We're still undecided. Maybe it'll be my turn to ship a jersey, NHL jersey, to the winner of the Dangle Bet Celly Bracket Challenge. So a link inside the description of this video. We're really going to start to promote it. Of course, we don't know the matchups just yet, but yesterday was a wild day in the NHL. We had the Wings come back again. They did it to your Leafs. They did it to the Habs the other night, but they still need a win tonight against the Montreal Canadiens, the second half of a back-to-back, and they also need help. Basically, if Washington wins tonight against the Philadelphia Flyers, they are in. I have some of the playoff scenarios here with us that I could read off for you. I saved them on my phone. Shout out to Frank Cervalli of Daily Faceoff for this. So I'll just read it off, EY, why not? So this is Caps win. They're in. Any win by Washington, and they are in. They surprised me yesterday and took care of the Boston Bruins. 1 point versus Philly and any Detroit loss against Montreal, and 1 point versus Philly and any Pens loss to the Islanders, the Caps are in. But the simplest thing, the Caps win and they're in. Detroit, a win against Montreal, and the Caps earned 1 point or less against Philly, or 1 point versus Montreal, and the Caps regulation loss and Pens 1 point loss. So they need some things, but basically if Philly can find a way to pick up a point tonight and Detroit gets a W, they're going to be in. The other teams behind them, they need, Pittsburgh and Philadelphia. Philadelphia especially needs some help. Philadelphia needs to win in regulation. They'll need Detroit to lose. They'll need Pittsburgh to lose. And the Pens are going to need, losses from Washington and Detroit as well. So there's a lot of different scenarios. I thought last night, LA losing to Minnesota was great for our Dallas Stars futures, because it looks like potentially, not that it's going to be easy, but a matchup potentially with the LA Kings as opposed to the Vegas Golden Knights, who just look like a juggernaut. Thomas Hurdle in front of the net on the power play. Mark Stone is ready to go. Where's the gif of the wrestler? He just takes his thing. What is that? Who is that takes with the cast and leg?
Kevin Nash.
Yeah. It's like he's ready to go. I've seen so many fun little gifs and things, but no surprise. Second year in a row as we creep to opening round of the Stanley Cup playoffs, Mark Stone is ready to go. But Hurdle parked himself right in front of the net on a 4-3 against the Avs. He had the 5 shots, had a power play goal. His first goal was an overtime winner for him. So, yeah, I think that Vegas, we know that they're going to be a hard out. So it's looking potentially if Vegas can close it out, and I believe they have, the Hawks tonight and the Ducks to wrap up. So a very easy schedule for them, that they would move up to the third spot. and play the Edmonton Oilers. And then we would have the Dallas Stars and the Los Angeles Kings. So still some movement in the Pacific, but we know in the Western Conference it's going to be Winnipeg and Colorado. And man, the Jets took it to the Avs over the weekend as well. So should be really good. I know I've just rambled for 5 minutes, but the NHL Bracket Challenge, get in it. It's free. EY, show the people what you are rocking here today. And we are going to give some love to the Red Wings for sure. There it is, folks. There it is. Kevin Nash. Yes, I'm not a big wrestling guy, even though my guy here across from me, my co-host, my better half, is the guy. But yeah, anyways. I'm also waiting on you to email me back for FTN membership. I'm not sure what that is. Oh, Kevin, you and I are in the finals. Yes, you and I are in the finals in the Dangle Bet Celly League. We're tied at 4. We have 3 days to go. It's going to be a bloodbath. I got all 4 of my moves left to do. I hope you do as well, because I'm going to be making some here over the next couple of days. Good luck to you, sir. And I did see your email come through. We'll get you hooked up. Just bear with me some of the changes here at FTN Fantasy. Here's the bracket challenge. The link, I will post it again in the comment section, but it's also in the description. Tweeted it out. Let's get in it. We got some time. The Stanley Cup playoffs are going to have them here for a few days, so we got some time to sign up here. We'll talk about some prizes and things like that when we do the NHL preview show. Let's do that. Hockey. Jay Felicio in the house. Meaney, are we hammering Detroit and Montreal again? What a game! Yeah, you know what? A lot of things worked out well yesterday for us. We did get a little bit lucky. Cole Caulfield needed overtime to get to 4 shots, but we did have Alex DeBrincat. We did have Lucas Raymond, and let's start there. Troy here. Yes, Islanders made the playoffs. It's going to be sick. Hurricanes in 5. We'll see. But yeah, they're in, and they're playing their best hockey of the season, man. Credit to Patrick Waugh and company. And you know what? They're doing it with Varlamov between the pipes here and there as well. So pretty surprising stuff. Let's get after the slate. Just wanted to, housekeeping stuff, ftnfantasy.com, questions, reach out, and the NHL bracket there as well. So I think definitely we also had the over 6.5 goals in the game last night at plus 100. I just think we can really go back to all of it. What worked yesterday and what we've seen from Detroit and the Habs. The Habs are playing competitive hockey. They're playing to a lot of overs. The Detroit Red Wings are as well. So let's actually skip over Washington and Philly. Start with Detroit and Montreal. Give you guys some live odds here. So the Habs are at home. It's their final home game of the season. I thought Lane Hudson looked pretty good last night in his NHL debut. Picked up a primary assist in his second shift. Man, the kid can skate. Super small, but he's got wheels for days. Habs are plus 150 at home. Detroit minus 175. And we have the total here at 6.5. And again, books are giving us plus 100 over at DraftKings. I think we're going to see goals. I mean, I really do think we're going to see them. We just look at the Detroit side of things. They can't really get a save. They haven't gotten a lot of saves this season, and they're playing to a lot of overs. Look at their last couple of games, 5-4, 5-4, 6-5. Couple unders there between Washington and Buffalo. Capitals can't score goals. Rangers 4-3 loss. Tampa 4-2 win. So a lot of overs here lately. I see the Islanders 6-3, the Blue Jackets 4-3, Penguins 6-3. So there's been a lot of offense. It's 7-3 loss to Buffalo, a 5-3 loss to Vegas. So a ton of offense up and down the board. I'll start here with 2 players, Alex DeBrincat. I'm sure you're going to have them as well, EY, tonight. But let's go back to these guys. Right, DeBrincat's got the 3-game point streak. He's got 3 goals over that span. He's got 7 points over his last 3 games. Actually, over his last 4 games, he's got 21 shots, but his last 3 games, 5, 6, and 7 for Alex DeBrincat's shot. So I'd like him to hit the score sheet tonight. I even like his shot prop. It's a little bit juiced at 2.5, over 2.5 at minus 145, but he's minus 135 over at DraftKings for a point. And then Lucas Raymond has just been fantastic. Ever since Larkin's return to the lineup, it's been about 12 games. They paired these two back up together, and Lucas Raymond enters tonight on what is a 5-game point streak. He scored the game-tying goal last night, and he scored the overtime winner last night. He was phenomenal. So you see Lucas Raymond here tonight. He is checking in at minus 140 for a point. I mentioned he checks in with a 5-game point streak. He's got 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 points over that span, and he's racked up 14 shots on goal over his last 3, and at least 4 shots on goal in 5 of his last 6, EY. I think we start there. with the Detroit Red Wings side. Those two players are on your card as well.
I'm going away from Raymond. He did his work last night. Look at great season, 31 goals, I think. Had that real bad stretch kind of in the middle of the season. Look, Detroit outplayed Montreal in every way in that game yesterday. They just were kind of getting goalied by Montembeault, but they didn't give up. And that crowd last night after the win, like the players, that's what it feels like to win. And as a person who's played at a very low level but has won, like that's an addiction. And I think the reality is Detroit has everything to play for, and Montreal has nothing to play for. They played hard. They want to be spoiler. They're not giving it up. The players are never going to give it up. But I think Detroit wins tonight, and I think Larkin shows up in a massive way. He was all over yesterday, like showed a goal, was driving play, one man. Like I'm not backing down from when I said he's a top 10 player. Not backing down from that because he is. He's just played on a lot of really bad teams for a very long time. And I think Patrick Kane, this is why you bring him in, right? This is the game. This is when they need him to be Patrick Kane. He was all over it yesterday. He's slow. He's never been fast though, right? Like not ever. He's just good on his edges and slippery and
yeah, he doesn't need to be fast. They got him to be Showtime Patty Kane, right? Give him the puck. He's going to set it up. And the power play is going to run through him. Yeah, he's been fine. Yeah, but I understand why they took him away from Larkin because he just can't keep up with Larkin.
Yep, totally makes sense. Montreal side, I'm going to go Suzuki because he's been their best player all year, plus 200. And a person that I noticed, and I bet onto this guy before, but he was all around the puck yesterday and driving play when he was on the ice, and that's Alex Newhook, plus 350.
Yeah, Newhook has been great. Actually been playing that second line in DFS. I think they're interesting again tonight. Allows you to spend up on some of the big boys. Like one of my better DFS lineups last night was Connor McDavid and Evan Bouchard. Henrique had the Oilers mixed in with, believe it or not, Alex Newhook, Brendan Gallagher, and Yoel Armia. And Gallagher had the 2 goals, but that line has been clicking. I mean, it's not a second line. It wouldn't be a second line on any other team really in the NHL, but it's just the makeup of the Habs and some of the injuries that they have, especially down the middle of the ice, that guys like Armia and Gallagher are getting a little bit more ice time. Gallagher scored twice last night. Newhook's been hitting the score sheet. I think every other night that I think you called him once or twice, but you've been all over it over the past like 3 weeks. And it feels like every other, maybe he just scores on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays or Saturdays in the odd Tuesday or Thursday. But you've been all over that way.
Him and Dylan Cousins.
Yeah,
Dylan's Cousins scored 2 goals yesterday. Of course he did.
Yeah, he did. Cole Caulfield again for me, and again we did get lucky last night. Man, Moet Seider is just an animal. He could easily take away Cole Caulfield. Like he was just basically doing this. Like you ever see the video of just like a guy with this like just taking a kid's head and like the kid is trying to get at you and they can't get at you. It's like Moritz Seider. It's just like you're not getting anywhere near this blue. And Cole Caulfield, what he does really nice, I think, because of his size, is he kind of like just disappears up at the top of the circle and up by the blue line to try to like, and Suzuki looks for him and Slavkovsky's in front of the net, but Seider was with him the whole time. Like he would leave the front of his net and go to the blue line as well and just kind of stay with him. It was really fun to watch that battle last night. But Cole Caulfield for 4 shots at minus 135. This is what I said yesterday on the episode of Mean Streets. I haven't updated the numbers, but I can just do a quick time here. So 7 goals in his last 8 games. It was a career high for him, the 27 goals in the season that he had on Saturday. But 54 shot attempts over his last 7 before last night. He had averaged 7.7 shot attempts. He had 8 shot attempts last night and another 4 shots on goal. So he has had 4+ shots in 6 of his last 7. He's averaging over 5 shots per game over that span. And on the season, he's averaging just under 3.8. So I think both of those guys are pretty good. And I'm surprised we're getting Raymond at plus 120 for 3 shots, just considering the flow, the rhythm,
smoking
the
hot
form.
right now,
yeah, he really is just smoking hot. So Raymond, 5-game point streak. He's got 6 goals and 10 points over that span. He is minus 140 for a point tonight, and he's plus 120 for 3 shots. Seems like we got a couple questions here. Means finally got the haircut. Yeah. I got bounced out of the my beer league playoffs in the final. So it's time to kind of clean up a little bit and just, I don't know. It was time. It was in a bad rut there. Wasn't minding the locks though. The flow wasn't minding it. Daily handle. Need Matt Boldy to score 1 goal versus Seattle to hit the over 29.5 futures big money. I can't imagine the Habs are going to go to Montembeault. I would say they go to Caden Primo. I was actually surprised. I thought they would give Montembeault the final home game of the season. I thought he deserved it. I don't know if goalies or, sometimes you see that sort of stuff, but whatever. St. Louis probably doesn't care about that sort of stuff. But I would imagine they go to Caden Primo tonight, who's been really good as well. Ever since they shipped Jake Allen away, Caden Primo's been much better. I think the Habs are going to upset them. I think they're going to spoil them tonight. I really do. I think that the Habs are going to take care of business, but I like the over 6.5. And I think in DFS, as we wrap up from this game, it's a very appealing game because I think you're going to continue to see some offense like Matheson point, Kane assist, JT Compher's -120 for a point. David Perron's been unbelievable over the past couple of weeks. I think I saw him +100 for a point tonight, and he's on that first power play. You saw the dish that he had. He's -105 now for a point. So there's a lot of different avenues, areas you could go. And in DFS, you can go with JT Compher, David Perron, and Patrick Kane to come off the top chalky line, which is 30% owned last night in some of my contests. So a lot of good stuff there tonight. And we'll move on from the game. Diehard MMA podcast. Good morning, boys. I'm live and not late. Look at that. Glad we have a huge slate today because tomorrow is going to be a tough day for your boy here in Arizona. Yeah, that's a tough one, man. Are you going to be a Utah fan? Are you going to slide over with them? Or are you just going to pick somebody else? Are you going to boycott the NHL? I don't know. When the Expos left Montreal, I didn't follow them to Washington. I'll tell you that. I was too bitter. It's like, I'm not following this Washington team. We'll see what you do there. Okay, let's get to the other game that's really more important than this Detroit one because the Red Wings can't get in unless we see a Philadelphia Flyers win here tonight. Washington and Philly.
Come on, Torts.
Oh, come on, Torts. Can you get the boys playing for one more game? It's the Rangers. Congrats to them, by the way. Right, winning President's Trophy, the President's Trophy, but the curse, if you believe in it, is real lately. This is what I saw in the TNT broadcast last night. I know we're jumping around, but just like the Rangers getting in and obviously winning is cool. It's great, but I don't think you want to play a team that's been playing playoff hockey down the stretch and winning these games the way that they are in overtime against the Leafs and overtime against the Habs. What if they have another comeback? You start to get momentum and start to feel it a little bit. Yeah. I think that the Red Wings would actually be a scary opponent for the New York Rangers. If I was a Rangers fan, I would be rooting for the Flyers to get in or the Capitals to get in, you know what I mean? Instead of Detroit. But the last 8 President's Trophy winners, Boston out first round. We know that last year. Florida out second round. The Avs out second round. The Bruins again in 2019 out second round. The Lightning, we know all about that. So does Troy out first round, swept by the Blue Jackets. The Predators, your Preds in 2017 out second round. The Capitals in 2016 out second round. And the Capitals in 2015 out second round. The last 8 President's Trophy winners have not made it to the third round, and 2 of them were bounced in the first round. And those 2 teams that were bounced in the first round were the 2 of the best teams we've ever seen, especially Boston in a regular season. In the year, the Lightning had 60 some odd wins as well. But before we break down the final playoff matchups, we got to get into tonight. So what do you have for Washington and Philly? I'm sure you got all kinds of Philly goal scorers, just hoping that it happens tonight.
Well, I'm going Ovi 140 and Strome at 250, and I got Strome involved in a pretty interesting goal. He's had really, really good season, centering the top power play. Look, I know if they score in the power play, it's most likely going to be Ovi, but other guys are on the ice too, and he's at +250, so I love that. On the Philly side, I'm going Konechny at 160 and Tippett at 210.
Yeah, I can't do much in this game. I don't. We'll ride with EY tonight in this game. I like Tippett. I feel like if there's a flyer that's going to show up tonight, it's Tippett or Konechny. Those are the 2 guys that have been, they're shooters and most consistent goal scorers all year long. Tippett is minus 115 for a point. And yeah, I guess if you said it right, if anyone's going to step up for the Capitals tonight, who's it going to be? It's going to be Alex Ovechkin. But they play a different style of hockey. I don't think we'll see a ton of offense. They don't really open it up a whole lot. And the Capitals are pretty big dogs here tonight at plus 130. And Philadelphia checking in at minus 146. So we'll see what happens. I think the Capitals are going to spoil the party and win a hockey game. But I think you got to imagine what's Philly's process tonight. Like, just stay with the system and how they've been playing. But if it's a tie game midway through the third, like, they have to go. Like, because they got to win in regulation. If this game goes to overtime, it's all over for them. So we'll see how aggressive they are. Maybe an opportunity to live bet this game, like live bet an over or something. If, they're pulling a goalie down by a goal or two, maybe they pull them extra early. So we'll see how Tortorella goes about this game. Next one, Ottawa and Boston tonight. So this is the final game for, I believe, both teams here tonight. And really surprising Boston's effort last night. I mean, credit to the Capitals, but the Bruins, I think, had like 4 scoring chances heading into the third period. They needed that W last night, and they need one tonight. They have 109 points, top the Atlantic, but the Florida Panthers have 108 points. And they're just one game remaining as well as they play the Leafs tonight. But we could see Florida leapfrog Boston. We know that Toronto's going to play one of these two teams, either the Panthers or the Bruins. I'll ask you as the Leafs guy here, the only Leafs guy on this show, who would you rather have, Boston or Florida?
I think psychologically wise, when they're 100%, I'd rather them play Florida. I feel the goaltending situation there is not like it was last year. Like, Bobrovsky is not sharp. I think maybe Stolarz has been the more sharp of the two over the course of the last month, but they're certainly not going to start Stolarz. And I think for the Leafs, when they're at 100%, to kind of get that monkey off their back of the Florida Panthers would be ideal. I'm not as scared of Boston as I am of Florida.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like Leaf fans should want Boston. I mean, careful what you wish for. Obviously, you're going to get one of the two. It's going to be tough. There's no easy matchup. But I think just watching them last night in what was like a must-win situation for the division, they couldn't close. They just seem to have one goal scorer on the team. That's it. Like, we've been talking about Zacha and Charlie Coyle all year. Like, great seasons from them. Awesome. Like, you guys were fantastic this year. Career year for Zacha, I believe, basically for Charlie Coyle as well. But I don't know, man. My goodness. Like, once you can't score a goal against Washington.
Yeah.
So I think that Florida's just much
and
deeper.
In their defense, Lindgren's been unreal and was unreal yesterday.
He was. It was a better third period, but I just thought, like, man, Boston wasn't generating anything in the first two periods. But anyways, I think Boston takes care of business tonight, and I do believe that they will eventually, they're going to win the Atlantic, and it's going to be Toronto and Florida rematch. But I like Pasta to kind of take care of it as well. Over 4.5 shots plus 110. He's minus 130 for a goal, but it's Ottawa. They're such a mess. Played last night against the Rangers. So give me Pasta and give me Zacha, right? I know I've been broken record, but minus 130 for a point. I was on him last night too, didn't get it, but it's a much better matchup for him tonight against Ottawa. So yes, I'm sure EY hasn't learned his lesson from last year. We want Florida. I was trying to set him up, Pascal. I was trying to set him up for we want Florida. We want Florida. Guys. We want Florida.
You guys want to live in the past? You can. That's fine.
When you haven't won a cup since 67, you got to have a reset mind. Reset mind. Stolarz is getting tonight, actually, and I think Stolarz is great. Is as good as Bobrovsky is. I think
he's been real good. What a pickup by
all year long. Yeah, all year long. He's a really nice goalie. So I don't think it's a massive difference. Florida's probably saying, "Listen, whatever. We'll get Toronto," or they probably think Boston's going to win tonight. But you just never know, right? Never know. Okay, so Zach and Pasta. Did you say what you like from this game?
No, I got Pasta, Marchand, Kachuk, and I'll say, like, Ottawa, they're brutal, and I don't know if I've ever been that wrong about a team ever in my life of trying to predict this kind of stuff. But I'll say this, is Claude Giroux is still playing like a lunatic. And yesterday he was all over the puck, tons of shots, tons of high danger scoring chances. ripping shots. Like he still looked like he wanted to win that game, even though like there's nothing for them to gain, right? Like, I mean, nothing. But Drew was still playing hard. He's at plus 290. So I like that.
I like that too. Okay, moving along. Actually, yeah, moving along. I think I'll save it for the end. I think I'm going to jump on Boston in 60 or spread there, puck line stuff. Okay, Columbus and Carolina. All right, Troy. Here it is, buddy. Close out strong. I don't know if Carolina's going to rest any guys tonight. I can't imagine why you would want to play anyone. Like Gensel, take a seat. Aho, take a seat. Right? Burns, take a seat. I don't know what's going to happen here tonight if the Hurricanes. I'm not going to lie to you. I just haven't seen any news as of right now. But this is a meaningless game for the Carolina Hurricanes. They check in at minus 245 on the money line, and the Blue Jackets at plus 220. I don't know. This is an opportunity. This time of the year, it's tough. There's value in DFS that, because guys are going to sit, meaningless games. Maybe an opportunity to jump on the Blue Jackets at home. I'm just not going to bet this game. And if Gensel and Aho play, of course I'll get involved with the same game parlay with those two guys to pick up points, with Seth Jarvis to pick up points, maybe Sveshnikov, to pick up a point or something like that. But I'm staying away from most of it on the Carolina side. On the Columbus side, we know that these guys are going to play, and I'm sure you got Voronkov there on your card because you've been all over him over the past a little bit. Him and Marchenko.
Yeah, I'm going to go Voronkov and Marchenko on the Columbus side, and I'm going to go Gensel, and I'm going to go Natchez on the Carolina side.
Okay. Have you seen anything on Carolina's players? I
haven't seen anything. I was having a heart attack last night watching Saros play, and it was terrifying.
What's his deal?
Crashing into him, and
oh yeah,
I get they want to play. I mean, but I don't think a win or a loss changes anything for them. So Yossi got hit in the arm with the puck and crawled to the bench, and was like, "Here we go."
I think their thinking was, if we just find a way to pick up a point, we could avoid Dallas. Does that matter to them?
Right.
I mean, I would want to play Dallas. I'd rather play Vancouver than Dallas. Wouldn't you?
I would rather play Vancouver than Dallas. Yeah.
Maybe that was their thinking.
I think Dallas is going to win the Stanley Cup.
Yeah. We'll see if they play the Golden Knights first round. I don't know. Okay. All right. I got nothing. I like the Marchenko call, but I'm just not going to put. I got to wait and see some things that are going to happen here. Rod Brind'Amour is going to rest some of his guys. I mean, come on, Rod. I know he's a true psycho, but you got to rest some of your guys here tonight. Toronto and Florida, take it away. Matthews getting 70 tonight. Is like the biggest lock in the NHL or what? This guy could shoot
100%.
30 times until he gets 70. I heard Keefe say it's a distraction. I got to imagine it's a distraction too. It's all anybody's talking about. After the game on Saturday, he just looked like a guy who was just tired, gassed. Yeah. They definitely wanted him to get the 70 so they could rest here of these next two games. They got Tampa next, right? They can't they can't. It's a fine line, man. You want to play him because you want to get him to 70, but what you just said, you were stressing out watching Yossi and all these guys. Now you're playing division rivals. You don't think Nick Cousins is going to take a little bit of a cheap shot in Matthews' ribs here tonight or, against Tampa Bay. So, but I mean, he had 20 shot attempts the other night and 10 shots on goal. So, he's pushing, man, to get it done. And I'd say he gets the 70 tonight. EY's gone.
I don't know what's going on. Maybe
you're back, man.
Get a new wire. I know it just does it, and I don't have to get a new wire. I guess a new HDMI cable. But anyways, Matthews and Nylander at plus 180, Reinhart at 130, and Tkachuk at 180. This is going to be an awesome game, I think. Regardless, I'll be watching. I know that for sure. I'll be watching the Detroit Montreal. Hoping that the Wings can pull it off. It's just fun to cheer for something like that. And I don't care much one way or the other. I know a lot of Detroit fans. Ton of my family and my wife's family are Red Wings fans. I'm thinking of them wanting them to experience playoff games, maybe a couple series. So we'll see.
I see they got the lines shuffled up again. They got Marner. It's only a matter of time, right? I think I saw Marner back with Austin Matthews there. So yeah, I think the guys that have the best value tonight in terms of points would be some of those, like Tarasenko, like Bertuzzi. Like Tarasenko is minus 145 at DraftKings. Bertuzzi's minus 110 over at DraftKings. Man, Nylander has been very, very quiet lately. Tavares is minus 130 for a point. It's actually not too shabby, but yeah, it should be a good one. But I think Matthews over 4.5 shots. Like, if he doesn't get the goal tonight, it's not going to be for a lack of trying. He's just been shooting it so much, and the focus has been on him to get 70. Everybody's setting him up. I'm seeing him penalty killing, playing some, getting on the ice in overtime or in empty net, things like that. He's minus 110 over at FanDuel for a goal. It's actually pretty good odds, considering it's Matthews. Team first, Matthews on power play only. Yeah, man, I would treat this guy with, I don't know. I could get the 70 goals, but the way that he crashed into the boards, I know you saw it. The way that he crashed into the boards on one of those plays looked like he broke his back. He just looked like a guy that needs a couple days to kind of reset here. But I don't know. I know some Leaf fans that don't even care about the playoffs. Like, get the 70s their cup. They just don't care, man. Like, get 70 and we'll be happy with the season. It's just how it's gone. Okay. Seattle and Winnipeg. This is another game where I feel like we just see some rest on, maybe Winnipeg's side of things. Like, what's the point?
Yeah. And they're not showing this yet, right? So we're doing this in the morning. Half of these bets could be null and void because they don't play, right? Like, yeah, maybe Connor doesn't play.
I mean, why would you?
Like, maybe Monahan doesn't play. Connor,
wouldn't play Hellebuck, wouldn't play Scheifele. Like, if there's anybody on the squad that was dealing with something and playing through something, take a seat. There's just no point in playing. Like, you're already locked in. The game that you won against the Avs, I mean, I guess there is home ice still. They have a 1-point lead on Colorado, but they have 2 games left. Colorado has 1. So I guess maybe they take care of business tonight and then they rest that final game. So, yeah, talking this out, I think
we go through this every year, right? Like, players getting close to milestones. The truth is there's all this other hidden incentives in some of their contracts. If they get to 20 or they get to 25, they get bonuses. Like, a lot of these guys are playing for huge sums of money. And the other part is like, the players want to play. They're not.
Sure. And they're like McDavid.
Think they can get hurt. That's
right.
None of them. They all believe that they're superhuman and they can't be destroyed. If you play in the NHL, you have to have that mindset or you're done. So they all think that. They all want to play. They all believe they'll be fine. But in the end, the coach has got to step in. The reality is teams that are up against in the salary cap and stuff like that, like, they have a bunch of injuries and they just can't call players up because they're up against it. What do? Yeah, they got to play these guys. Yeah. They got to dress a full roster. So, but you could play him just in the power play. I don't think that's going to happen. I think that they're going to just play. I think if he gets one right away, then maybe you can see him on the power play. But I think it's going to be business as usual. That's what most teams have done this year. And I mean, in the end, that's what most teams do.
Yeah. And you're right about the milestones. I wrote that up yesterday in the FTN daily article, like, getting questions. Why is McDavid playing? Well, he got 100 assists. He got 1 assist last night for 100, 4th player of all time to get 100 assists. Like, Gretzky's done it 11 times.
Gretzky's done it 11 times.
Sick. Mario and Mike Bossy there. So in good company, and Bouchard gets his 80th point. We had that 10-1. That's a sweat job because I don't think he's going to play the next game. Stamkos gets his 40th goal. Kreider gets his 40th goal. These things happened last night. For tonight, Velarde, I like.
Stamkos. I saw that and I was like, I had to log out of it and log back in and be like, 40 goals. Stamkos. Still getting it done. I had no idea that he had 40 goals.
Yeah. And the run that the last few games, like his last
ripping goals.
Yeah, his last 9 games, he's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 10, 11 goals. Like, he's just like, 40's in sight. Here we go. And also, Kucherov is 1 assist away, I think, from 100, right? So it's another thing that we're going to be chasing down tomorrow night, I believe, against the Leafs. So, yeah, anyways, these guys are going to play, especially with Kucherov with the art. But for tonight, I like Velarde for a point. He's plus 105. It's pretty much what I got tonight for you. I think the Jets take care of business at home, right? Now that I look at the standings again, I thought they only had 1 game left. Win this game, get home ice, face the Avs, but have it in your barn, whiteout. Avs are in trouble. I'm going to tell you that right now. Spoiler alert. I think the Avs are in trouble. Adam Lowry is going to be all over Nathan McKinnon, and I get it. I just said that sentence, Lowry and McKinnon. McKinnon is a beast, but I'll tell you what, Lowry is going to be all over him, and that is a hard player to play against. You're going to see that matchup, especially in Winnipeg.
Yeah. Oh, man, my heart's pounding thinking about that.
He's ready to go for the playoffs.
I mean,
do you have anything? Do you have anything?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I got Connor and Monahan, but look at guys like – you're just going to have to accept that if I look at the lineups right now, those players still say that they're playing, and they very well might.
Yeah.
And
everyone
they very well might not.
Change.
So it's just the way it is. Seattle side, McCann's back. I'm going to go McCann at plus 300 and Burakovsky at plus 340. I got him starred because I got a pretty interesting bet for the end of the show.
He's got him starred, folks. All right. A couple comments here. Anything from this game? I'm a little late, but have we talked about Caulfield sweat from last night? Yeah, we did. We talked about it. We let it, I think, Jay. It was a sweat job. We needed 4 shots. You 2 in overtime. Sometimes you just need some breaks, man. You need
sometimes you got to have the OT.
Yeah, you got to have overtime there. It took Matthews to get the first one at plus 600. Again, what we said on Tuesday, what we said the past couple episodes is like first goal or last goal, right? Last goal is interesting too, especially if it's an empty netter and they're up by a goal or 2 and he needs 70. Like, come on, he's on the ice. Yeah. Okay, moving along. We just have the 2 final games here left. Calgary and Vancouver. Man, Kuzmenko probably should have led with him again. He didn't come through for us when we had our guy Jay make a TikTok for us or a short, and he created a short for us, but it was the only game in the last couple where he hasn't come through for us. And the very next game he went out and scored a hat trick. So he just continues to light it up. It's man, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 games here. He has 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 goals. And over those 9 games, man, he has 7 multi-point games, and he's cooking on the power play too. He's got 9.
He's the player that we thought he was, right?
I still think he's got some defensive issues in his game, but man, my goodness, who cares? He's playing with Kadri and he's lighting it up.
Patrick Kane doesn't know what defense is, and he's going into the Hall of Fame. So look, man, we can't all play defense, guys. Let's just, you know what I mean? Like, I get that Vancouver has a ton of great players, but you're telling me Vancouver couldn't use Kuzmenko, the team that was paying him anyways, just continues to still pay him. Now Calgary has him at a discount. He's their best player.
I know. I see Mikheyev up on that top line. I'm just like,
come on.
Oh, and they keep throwing like Pius Suter and like just random dudes on the second line. I'm like, oh man,
fine players. But you know what you could really use?
This guy,
little cup of koozie.
And books have just not adjusted. Like, he's minus 125 for a point. He's plus 300 for a power play point. Guys, I just told you he has 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 power play points in his last 8 games. He has 9 power play points in his last 8 games. He's playing a Canucks team that doesn't have anything to play for. They are up 3 points on the Oilers. They need 1 more point. You know, they beat them on Saturday. They got the tiebreaker already. So they'll try to win this game. But, fun little revenge game for Kuzmenko. And he's playing his best hockey of his career. And he was awesome last year. So it's saying something.
Yeah. So the Kuzmenko is another guy that starred to score. He's at plus 320. Like, it just hasn't caught up. Like, I get he had the one game, of course, the game that we made a video. Jay was kind enough to make us a little video, and
And
of course he didn't score. Yeah. I mean, we jinxed it. I mean, we should know better. But
he picked it right up where it's so funny. The next game he wins and gets a hat trick.
Of course. Plus 320 for him. Sharon Govich has been great. He's at plus 260. I mean, there was a point in the season where Sharon Govich was carrying this team offensively, right? He was scoring every game. He was a big deal for Calgary. Vancouver, I'm going Besser at 160 and Pettersson at 165. Should be an interesting game, though. Those two, I mean, Calgary and Vancouver always have good games. It's the revenge game for Kuzmenko. I think he'll score. I feel really good about that, actually.
Man, it's hard. Definitely taking him on the point at minus 125. I'm all over that. But for me, maybe like half a unit on the assist at plus 170 and maybe 0.25 units on the power play point at plus 300. It just seems really good and too good to pass up. And we mentioned who he's playing with, Kadri. Like Kadri, I mean, he's been just as good with Kuzmenko. Like they're playing together and they're both getting all these points. Like Kadri's got back-to-back games of 3 points. He's hit the score sheet in 8 of his last 10 games. He has 5 multi-point games over that span. He's minus 135 for a point. This is the Canucks, guys. It's not. Have I missed anything? Like, is Demko between the pipes tonight? It's still the shady goaltending that they've gotten since Demko went down. Kadri minus 135 for a point, plus 270 power play point, plus 170 assist. He's also been shooting, a whole lot. He's plus 135 for 4 shots tonight. He has 10 shots in his last 2 games. He had 7 the other night in a game. So he's cleared 3.5 in 3 of his last 4. I don't know. The shot prop may be a bit much, but Kuzmenko point minus 125, Kadri point minus 135 is Denko's confirmed. That makes more sense. I knew he was close. I still like it. I don't care. Demko, when's the last time Demko's played a game? And it doesn't matter. Like Calgary's actually played some good teams down the stretch, and these guys have shown up. So Demko is suited. He hasn't played since March 9th. That's big for the Canucks. They really need this guy to go on a bit of a run. So I still like. Thank you, Andy, for that. Demko confirmed tonight. Appreciate you. I still like Kuzmenko, and I still like Kadri for a point. Over at Bet365, I'll wrap up with some same game parlays here. We just got one more game left, but since we're on this game, Brock Besser and JT Miller being back together, I think is good for the Canucks and good for both players. They've been fine without each other, but Brock Besser and JT Miller plus 115 for a point tonight. And you know what? Connor Garland still is doing things out there despite losing a top 6 role that he had for like a couple of weeks. So he's interesting as well. You think the host of the show would know. I think EY knew, but I didn't know. I knew he was close, but it doesn't matter. You were all over it. All right. Biggest lopsided affair of the night. And I don't think it'll go like last night's Oilers and Sharks game. Man, I felt for San Jose. There was 4 minutes left in the game and they're down 9-1. Like if Edmonton wanted to, they could have scored 15 goals last night. Maybe even flirted with 17. Who knows? But tonight, Vegas, give you guys some live odds here. The Golden Knights are now minus 400 in most spots. Minus 395 is the shortest number I'm seeing. The Hawks are plus 320 if you want to back them. What I know, man, William Karlsson. What a season from William Karlsson. A couple goals the other night against the Avs. He's probably been, him and Marchessault again have been their most consistent players this year. Eichel missed a little bit of time. Everybody else kind of in and out of the lineup in quiet periods. But Thomas Hertl for me, I got to go to Hertl. Pick up a point here tonight. He's minus 130 against the Hawks. He really shouldn't be. So he's on that first power play, which is huge. I noticed that they made some adjustments on that 4 and 3 and just put him in front of the net. Big body. And what's a scary added element to the squad? Because we know that Hertl's good. He's good. He can score. He's got hands. Nice little shot. He's dominant in the faceoff circle. I think he won 17 or 19 faceoffs against the Avs in that game. And I think he's operating at over 70% so far.
A big dude, right? Like, you know.
Yeah.
I didn't realize how big he is.
He is big. He was great after the broadcast on the TNT broadcast when he scored the overtime goal with Biz. They started talking about like Vegas and they asked him like, well, how, what's different Vegas and San Jose? And he's talking about the team and everyone's so nice to him, obviously, but he's saying like outside, he's just surprised at how many Vegas fans are around. He's like, outside, you go on the strip. When you come here as a away player, you go on the strip and you just go to the casino and you don't kind of tour the city. And he said, like, since I've been here, me and my family kind of toured the strip a little bit. And he's like, you just see Vegas shirts everywhere. Like he's like, I didn't realize how big of a fan base they already have. Then they start talking about what slots he's going to go to and his favorite. He's like, I love craps. Like, I'm going to the table. We're going to go to the tables and have a good time. Like, he was just like, the biggest smile on his face. And of course, man, you just left the Sharks and the rebuild that was going to take years and years and years. Now you're going to the defending Stanley Cup champion Vegas Golden Knights. You're already on the first power play. You're playing with great players. And he talked about his big body. He's like, Bruce Cassidy just told me to stand in front of the net and deflect some shots. And sure enough, that's what happened. Anyways, minus 130 for a point seems like maybe too good to be true against the Blackhawks. He's also plus 340 for a power play point tonight, guys. It is on that first unit. So I think Vegas should take care of business tonight. Now that I don't think it for them, like whatever, they're probably like, we'll play whoever. But they have no problem going up to the 3 slot and playing the Oilers like they did last year and taking care of them in 6. I think Vegas rolls.
Yeah, I think Vegas rolls too. Chicago's brutal. I'm going to go Bedard and I'm going to go Dickinson because who cares? Vegas side, Marchessault and Hurdle to score tonight.
Yeah, those would be my 2 guys as well. Some fun same game parlay stuff like Eichel and Marchessault. Marchessault's finally juice. We can't take him. Eichel or Carlson's at minus 145 for a point. He's also plus 110 for 3 shots tonight. So I like the Golden Knights. I think that they're going to win on the puck line tonight. So I'm going to take them at minus. Ooh, it's changed big time. I'll still probably drink a little bit of the juice, minus 145 for them to win by a couple goals. I think that they probably win by 3 or 4 tonight. I think they're cooking now. And they're feeling everybody's healthy. Noah Hannafin looks like and they extended him. Like, they got it going on. Okay, what do we got? At work, but I'm here. 9 goals for the other team. Golly, a rough one, but it's been a rough year for you, dude. But I'll tell you what, Will Smith looks like a player. I know that Boston College lost in the Frozen Four, but we've actually been all over Will Smith's shot props, like over 3.5 at plus 160. He loves to shoot the puck, and we've been hitting those at FTN. You're going to enjoy Will Smith, but it's going to be a long rebuild. Was late to the show, but I'll catch up. How do you feel about Bruins in 60? Yeah, we're all over that one. I love it. Thanks, Robbie. And I made it to the last day of the season. I'm going to miss the gang. Maniac Parlay hits tonight. I will be back on Thursday. Yeah. Thursday's actually the last game. We'll have another Maniac Parlay here, but we'll throw over to EY for now. Actually, here's what I'm at for sides tonight. I do like Boston in 60 at minus 135. I also like the Winnipeg Jets in 60 at minus 135. I think those 2 teams at home tonight, there still is a little bit of something to play for those squads. Boston can clinch the Atlantic with OW tonight, and the Winnipeg Jets will solidify home ice in their matchup in the first round against the Colorado Avalanche with a win tonight. I like the Vegas Golden Knights in the puck line. It's a little bit juicy, minus 145. I'm still going to take it. I think the Habs are going to beat the Red Wings, but I'm not going to test fate, which there's been some craziness with Detroit over the past week or so. But I am going to take the over 6.5 at plus 100. We were on that last night. I think we see a very similar type of game. High flying. Detroit's going to do whatever they can tonight again to pull off the victory. And the Habs have been, I don't know, man, they've been competitive all year long. They've been scrappy. And Detroit doesn't have good goaltending. So I do believe we can see Montreal do their part, get 2 or 3 goals themselves. So those are the sides that I'm on. I'm going to stay away from Toronto and Florida. I do have a lean to the Washington Capitals going into Philadelphia and picking up a victory in that game, staying away from Carolina and Columbus, and staying away from Calgary and Vancouver as well. I don't think the Canucks should be that big of favorites. Could see, Calgary go in there and pick up a W, but I'd just rather take the props there on Kuzmenko. So we'll throw it over to you for goals, and we'll wrap up with a couple props that I have.
All right. We got Larkin, Kane, Suzuki, Newhook, Ovi, Dylan Strome, Konechny, Tippett, Kachuk, Giroux, Pasta, Marchand, Gensel, Nechez, Vorkunov, Marashenko, Bedard, Dickinson, Marcel Scholl, Hurdle, Matthews, Nylander, Reinhart, Kachuk, McCann, Burakovsky, Connor, Monahan, Kuzmenko, Sharangovich, Besser, Patterson. The 8-way Maniac parlay goes as follows: Larkin, Matthews, Suzuki, Ovi, Pasta, Giroux, Reinhart, Connor. Obviously, we don't know who's going to play, so this makes it extra difficult. I would maybe alternate Connor out and put Kuzmenko in there because I feel like Connor's pretty unlikely to play. The lock of the night to score is my man Dylan Larkin. The interesting bet I was talking about is a 4-way bet with some pretty good odds. It's Kuzmenko, Burakovsky, Giroux, and Strome. They all have 250 to 350 plus as goal scoring. You put them into a 4-way parlay. It's $1 pays you like $522. So I'm doing it. I'm not telling you to do it. I'm just interested.
All right. Okay, so just to recap here for some points. I mean, going right back to what worked for us yesterday and has been working for us for the past couple of weeks here with Detroit. This top line is red hot. DeBrincat minus 135 for a point. Lucas Raymond minus 135 for a point. Also like Raymond and DeBrincat shots. I like DeBrincat a touch more, over 2.5 shots, minus 145. He has been shooting a lot here over the past couple of games. And Lucas Raymond has as well. I think he's got 4+ shots in like 4 or 5 of 6. So he is plus 120 for 3 shots. Cole Caulfield worked out for us last night, sweat job, but at home, last change. Maybe a power play or 2 is all you need to get there. Maybe this game goes to overtime again. Cole Caulfield over 3.5 shots at minus 135. He's averaging over 7 shot attempts, close to 8 over his last 8 games, 7.8 shot attempts per game over his last 8. And he has cleared in 6 of his last 7 games. I like Pavel Zacha for a point at minus 130. I think David Pastrnak scores a goal tonight, but he is minus 130. But I like Zacha at minus 130 to pick up a point. I like Austin Matthews for 5 shots. I mean, I think he's going to score. He's minus 110 at FanDuel for a goal. He's one away from 70, of course, but he's just, he's shooting. I mean, there's no question. Everybody on the team wants him to get to 70. He wants to get to 70. He had 10 shots the other night. Minus 129 for 5 shots at Bet Rivers. The attempts got to be there for him tonight, I would say. Gabriel Velarde plus 105 for a point. As EY said, keep an eye on the Jets. There is something to play for them tonight, though. A win, like I said, they get home ice against Colorado. That is huge. To start at home in your own building is really significant. So I think the Jets will play their players tonight. Velarde plus 105 at DraftKings for a point. Kuzmenko, money maker. This guy lately, minus 125 for a point, and he little sprinkles on plus 170 assists, plus 330 for a power play point. Take a look at the back of the hockey card. He's been racking up all kinds of power play points. Kadri's minus 135 for a point. And then I have Thomas Hurdle minus 130 for a point for the Vegas Golden Knights. And I also am going to do a little bit of a sprinkle on the 3 shots at plus 110. He had 5 the other night. On that first power play there. For same game parlays here this evening, you could do, I mean, I'm taking Raymond and DeBrincat as solos, but also like we had some success in our bet tracker last night for the top line at plus 220 for a point. And we were actually 1 point away from the line having 2 points each tonight for a 2-point night each at 14-1. Over at Bet365. Caulfield Suzuki plus 110 for a point. I will, as I'm a true psycho, Caulfield, Suzuki, and Slavkovsky at 12-1 for a point as well. I think Lane Hudson is interesting at plus 170 for a point. He has just popped up. I bet 365 plus 170 for a point. Oh man. Other point parlays that I'll be looking at here tonight. Barkov and Reinhart. We'll see what happens with the Jets, but if Connor is playing with Scheifele, those are the 2. I don't expect them to. They've been separated lately. But Brock Besser and JT Miller, you could do Kadri and Kuzmenko. And my favorite of the night, there's a little bit of juice, but is Eichel and Marchessault, and that is at minus 110 for a point. All right. No Barkov tonight. That's happened? That's just so we're starting to get some news. Makes sense, right? Why would he play him? That's what I mean. Matthews wouldn't be playing tonight either if he had 70. I guarantee it. He wouldn't be playing.
Yeah.
And if he gets 70 tonight, he's not going to play him. He's not going to play against Tampa. It's just you can't be playing your stars against these rivals and just you know what I mean. Yeah, Barkov is considered questionable. He's dealing with some stiffness, so there's a good chance he's out tonight. I can't imagine EY that they would risk that. Not seeing anything else on significant players, but again, keep an eye on some things. Things are going to happen here over the next couple of days. Just be careful, as I said on Tuesday or last Thursday. Be careful when you're locking in your bets. Maybe you just wait a little bit. I know odds will change, but it won't change that significantly. Try to target teams that are playing for something or teams that are already out and you just know that they're going to play their guys. But some players could rest, even if they're active, like Matthews. He could play 13 minutes tonight. And none of us would be shocked, especially if he gets that goal early and then they're rolling 4 lines. There's no point in risking some of these playoffs. But yeah, Barkov is out, which is good news for Matthews for sure. All right, guys, we're out of here. The NHL Bracket Challenge, the link inside the description of this video. You're listening on iTunes and Spotify. Hop on over, smash the like button, subscribe to FTN. Check out the new website. Any questions, let me know. At Chris Meaney, at the Eric Young, Mean Streets, FTN at gmail.com. We'll be back on Thursday. We'll have a Stanley Cup playoff preview for you guys on Friday. And we want you to get in that NHL Bracket Challenge. Link inside the description of this video. It's free to sign up. And we'll talk about that as we get closer to the Stanley Cup playoffs. EY, always a pleasure, dude. We'll talk to you guys soon. Cheers.